In 2014, Nintendo was on life support. Their brand new, heavily marketed console, the Wii U, was a certified disaster. They were losing billions of dollars, their stock price had plummeted, and the world's most iconic video game company was facing total irrelevance. The media was writing their obituary, and for the first time it felt like they might be right. But just 5 years later, that same company was on top of the world, posting record profits with a console that was selling faster than anything they had ever created. This wasn't just a recovery, it was a resurrection. How does a company survive a mistake of that magnitude? How do they go from being a laughingstock to an industry leader in one move? This is the story of the billion-dollar failure that nearly killed Nintendo, and the radical lessons they learned in the ashes that led to the greatest comeback in gaming history. To understand the depth of the fall, we have to understand the height from which they fell. After a period of struggle against Sony's PlayStation 2, Nintendo had roared back to life in 2006 with the Wii. It was a revolution. With its simple motion controls, the Wii was less a game console and more a cultural phenomenon. It brought gaming to millions of new people, families, grandparents, everyone. It sold over 100 million units and became the undisputed king of its generation. Nintendo was once again the innovator, the trailblazer, the company that didn't play by the tech industry's rules. They had a mountain of cash and the confidence that they could do no wrong. And it was this very confidence, this arrogance born from unprecedented success, that would lead them directly off a cliff. The challenge was creating a successor to the Wii. How do you follow up a revolution? Nintendo's answer was the Wii U, a console built around a central, disastrous idea. A controller with its own screen, allowing for asymmetric gameplay. One person could see things on the tablet that weren't on the TV. On paper, it was innovative. In reality, it was a catastrophe. The marketing was the first sign of disaster. The name, Wii U, was confusing. Millions of casual Wii owners had no idea it was a new console. They thought it was just an optional add-on for their existing Wii. The commercials failed to explain the core concept, leaving audiences bewildered. Then there was the hardware itself. The tablet controller, called the gamepad, was clunky, had a terrible battery life, and its screen was a low-resolution afterthought. Worse, its wireless range was so short you could barely take it to the next room. It offered the limitations of a handheld with none of the portability. Developers hated it. Creating unique experiences for two separate screens was a resource-draining nightmare. Major third-party game makers like Electronic Arts and Ubisoft, who had supported the Wii, took one look at the Wii U's dismal early sales and abandoned the platform entirely. The console was left with a barren wasteland for a game library. The numbers were horrifying. While the Wii had sold over 100 million units, the Wii U sold a pathetic 13.5 million over its entire lifespan. For comparison, the PlayStation 4, its main competitor, sold over 117 million. For the first time in its history, Nintendo posted massive operating losses, bleeding billions of dollars. The company that had once printed money was now burning it. Inside Nintendo's headquarters in Kyoto, there was panic. The company's legendary president, Satoru Iwata, took a 50% pay cut in apology. The mood was bleak. The Wii U wasn't just a failed product, it was a public humiliation. It was the billion-dollar mistake that had pushed them to the very edge. They had two choices: abandon the hardware business forever and become a software company like Sega, or bet the entire company on one last, radical idea. They chose to bet the company. In the midst of the Wii U's failure, Iwata and his top designers, including the legendary Shigeru Miyamoto, began a post-mortem. They had to understand why it failed so catastrophically. The name was confusing. The marketing was unclear. But the core problem was the concept itself. The Wii U gamepad had tried to offer a second screen experience but had chained it to the living room TV. It promised freedom but delivered a leash. But within that failure, they saw a glimmer of an idea. People liked the concept of playing a big console game on a small screen. What if they could cut the leash? What if they could take the central promise of the Wii U and actually deliver on it? What if they could create a single, elegant device that could be both a home console and a true handheld? It was a risky, almost crazy idea. No one had ever successfully created a hybrid console. It would require them to merge their historically separate and massively successful home console and handheld divisions. It was an all-or-nothing gamble. Development began under the codename NX. The project was shrouded in secrecy. Satoru Iwata, the beloved president who greenlit the project, tragically passed away from cancer in 2015, never getting to see his final bet pay off. The weight of Nintendo's future now rested on the shoulders of his successors. In March 2017, the Nintendo Switch was released. The launch was electric. The core concept, which had been so confusing with the Wii U, was now crystal clear. A single trailer showed a gamer playing on their TV, then seamlessly pulling the device from its dock to continue playing on the go. Everyone got it instantly. It solved a real problem for modern gamers with busy lives. It was the ultimate expression of Nintendo's philosophy. It wasn't the most powerful machine, far from it, but it was built around a brilliant, fun, focused idea. It launched with The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, a game so masterfully designed it is still considered one of the greatest of all time. The Switch wasn't just a success, it was a phenomenon. It sold 10 million units in its first 9 months, outselling the Wii U's entire lifetime sales in under a year. It flew off shelves. Games like Animal Crossing, New Horizons became cultural touchstones during the 2020 pandemic, selling over 40 million copies and connecting a world in lockdown. Nintendo's stock price soared. They went from losing billions to posting the highest profits in their history. The comeback was complete. The company that was on the brink of death just a few years earlier was now, once again, the king of the industry. The Wii U was a forgotten nightmare, but the lessons learned from its failure had been the secret ingredient to the Switch's world-conquering success. The dramatic fall and triumphant rise of Nintendo offers some of the most powerful lessons in modern business. Lesson 1. Failure is the best data. The Wii U was a billion-dollar market research project. It taught Nintendo that people didn't understand the name, that the marketing had to be crystal clear, and most importantly, that the idea of playing console games on a portable screen was a winner, but only if you actually made it portable. The Switch exists not in spite of the Wii U, but because of it. Every great comeback is built on the lessons of a great failure. Lesson 2. In crisis, double down on your identity. When Nintendo was at its lowest, the easy path would have been to give up, to become a normal game developer for Sony and Microsoft. Instead, they did the opposite. They embraced their identity as creative risk-takers. They leaned into their core philosophy of creating novel ways to play, rather than chasing the competition's specs. A crisis is the ultimate test of what your company truly is. Lesson 3. Simplicity is the ultimate marketing tool. The core failure of the Wii U was its complexity. The core genius of the Switch was its simplicity. A single, elegant concept, play anywhere, anytime, that could be understood in 3 seconds. In a crowded market, the simplest message is always the most powerful. If you can't explain your product's core benefit in a single sentence, it's destined to fail. Nintendo's journey through the darkness of the Wii U era and back into the light is a testament to resilience. It proves that no company, no matter how iconic, is immune to catastrophic failure. But it also proves that a visionary idea, born from the lessons of that failure, can spark the greatest comeback of all. If you found this story of Nintendo's resilience valuable, hit the like button. To get more case files on the world's most interesting companies, make sure you subscribe. And now, our question for you. Comment below with your favorite Nintendo game of all time and why. Let's see which one wins.